Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football Dill. Coach Sark, Arch Manning in Texas. Is it time to buy back some stock? And look, am I going to get up here and say national championship? That's probably a little bit premature. But here's what I will say. In the second half of that football game, that was national championship caliber football that you saw from Arch Manning and them Texas Longhorns. Dill, that was the version of Texas I envisioned when I took Texas to win the national championship way back in August. Now the storyline is, can we play like that more often than not the rest of the way in 2025? Because gosh darn it, Dill, if they do, there are just not many teams that I think have the firepower to bang with Texas in 2025. And here's the two big storylines that I got from rewatching this game. Number one, by far in the second half, the most comfortable and confident that we've seen Arch Manning look. It's the best version of Arch Manning we've seen in his career, right? But number two, in a storyline that I don't think enough people were talking about, is that Texas, their best players were difference makers yesterday. And I'm not totally sure if you can say that to start 2025. It's not like Colin Simmons or Anthony Hill or Manny Muhammad or Michael Taft. It's not like they've been bad to start 2025, but were they legitimate difference makers at times? No, probably not. It was the double whammy. Like Arch Manning started to play winning football, but the rest of this roster, all that talent that we know is on this roster, they seem to play and be some of the best players on the field. And that matters for Texas so much because the star power, the firepower that this football team has, man, it's legit. And we saw it in the second half. And here's what I'll say to the Texas fans before we get nitty gritty into what we saw. Are the expectations that you have for this football team a little bit different right now on Sunday morning than when you woke up on Saturday morning? Because Dill, for me, like, again, I don't know if I have national championship expectations just yet, but I saw a version of Texas that we haven't seen yet in 2025. I saw a version of Texas that I firmly believe can compete for national championship. What are the expectations for the Texas fans? Please let it fly in the comment section. Appreciate you guys rocking with it. If y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. Dill, I will put you on the T-box here. Biggest takeaways from Texas's win yesterday afternoon.
Yeah, I think honestly you probably have to reset the expectations because I'm not gonna lie. After the Florida game and the Ohio State game, I felt like, okay, that's a big spot. Ohio State's really good. Like, that was a game. I mean, Texas wasn't like out of it. And you probably were just hoping that was a blip on the radar a little bit. After the Florida game, I think like I would have been legitimately concerned. Like, does this team even have it? Like, do they have it in them? Even at like them playing good, can they get to that level they need to? This was that second half was the first time we finally got to see them get to that level that was like, oh, they could easily win.
And you know what I loved before we actually talked some football, like back against the wall. Got beat bad in the first half. Like, Oklahoma was the better team, ain't no question about it. And then you come out in the second half, battle back, and really just dominate the rest of the football game. Man, you are going to need that at another point eventually in 2025. I don't know if it's going to be next weekend. I don't know if it's going to be the last game of the season against Texas A&M. At some point, you will need to battle back once again. Texas showing they have the ability to do that, I think should make a lot of Texas fans really damn comfortable. Now, let's get to Arch Manning. Best football we've seen from him, right, in that second half against an Oklahoma defense. And I know Texas fans don't want to listen to that Oklahoma defense is about as legit as it gets. How many defenses are you going to see that are better than Oklahoma's?
Very few. There's maybe 3 that are in their league, I'd say.
Like Ohio State, if you get to the national championship and play them, there's not many defenses I'm taking over Oklahoma. So to watch Arch Manning play that way against that kind of defense, that's what fires me up the
most.
most.
Also, like the offense as a whole. I mean, that's almost the big thing. Like, Arch Manning was playing well, but like things around him were working better. And the run game was good in the second half. And Quintravian Wisner, a guy who I feel like we both have probably
we gotta apologize. We gotta take a second. Like,
because I was like such a CJ Baxter guy. I'm like, oh, once they get Baxter back, they'll run the ball better in big spots. Like that second half when they needed to be able to be physical and not get themselves caught in third and long, second and long situations, that frankly has been a problem for Texas all year. they finally got their offensive line going, and they were moving guys. I thought they were really kind of winning the line of scrimmage in that second half.
Against a really good Oklahoma defensive line. Dill, that's the storyline. 10 of 17 on third downs against that kind of defense. The problems that a lot of people had with Texas on third downs were misplaced. There are a lot of people saying, well, Coach Sark ain't calling the right plays on third down. No. Like they weren't doing the right things on first and second down, right? Once you start, especially in the second half, because in the first half, got behind the chains a decent amount and weren't really converting on your third downs. But when you stopped taking the negative plays, when you started winning on first and second down, all of a sudden you start winning them third downs a heck of a lot more. That was a big storyline.
They got to like the passing attack, or a passing attack, I should say, that got Arch Manning into some rhythm finally.
Yes.
It felt like too much of the game was predicated on him throwing the ball way down the field. And again, that was a little bit situationally dictated because they found themselves in a ton of behind the sticks kind of situations. I thought like some of those plays, like that play to Parker Livingstone, that one that I don't know, it was like a 7-yard pass in the red zone. Like that type of play, we haven't seen enough of from Texas. I think they got one to Jack Endries too, like that sort of like easier, high probability completion play. We haven't seen a ton of that from Texas. And I think when they were able to get to that, because they were finding themselves ahead of the chains, I think you saw Arch Manning get some confidence finally. And so then you started seeing some of the special stuff too, honestly.
I agree with that. We'll get to the special stuff, but I do want to start with just the rudimentary stuff first. And I 100% agree with you. And it's kind of funny that Oklahoma pass rush that we spent so much. The reason I picked Oklahoma in this game, like, man, Oklahoma's getting after the passer better than anybody in the country. Texas be taking a lot of sacks. That storyline, like Coach Sark knew, hey, 5-step drops in this football game are going to be hard to come by. Well, let's try to lean into the quick game. And because you did that, all of a sudden that offense just started to click. Dill, average time to throw for Arch Manning on the night, 2.7 seconds. Way faster than how we've been talking about it the last couple of weeks. So that quick game certainly helped. And then, Dill, when you keep him clean, 93% completion percentage against Oklahoma yesterday when he was clean in the pocket with the touchdown. You started to see when you started to run the football and then you started to slow down that pass rush, you started to see Arch Manning play his best football. And like you said, then you started to see the special stuff a little bit more consistently, which is getting out of the pocket, throwing off platform, all those things that, we were really looking forward to moving from Quinn Ewers, because Quinn Ewers didn't have that ability. When it wasn't perfect for Quinn Ewers, he was taking sacks. He wasn't a very good athlete. Arch Manning, you started to see that when you combine, hey, we're going to do the basics at a high level and then go make some difference-making plays, and that's the recipe for Texas, and that's what you saw in the second half.
And he's finally getting some rhythm with someone other than Parker Livingstone. That was the other part. I thought DeAndre Moore finally getting a little bit more engaged. I thought Ryan Wingo over the past couple of games, like second half of Florida, but then also a couple plays where, again, it just feels like they're in sync. Like they're not missing each other by 5 yards because they're not really like on the same page. That's another big one to me. It's like DeAndre Moore needs to kind of get rolling. I thought he was kind of going to be the centerpiece, frankly, of this passing attack. In Ryan Wingo, he needs to be a guy that Arch Manning can.
They are way too talented to just be like throwing pieces to this offense. Like they need to be featured. They need to be given opportunities to excel. And you started to see that a little bit. I still think there's some meat left on the bone there.
For sure.
But
at least you finally saw like the green shoots of it, because we really haven't seen anything so much.
And Dill, now you go on the road and play Kentucky, which, look, Kentucky has a quality defense, but you feel really good about Texas winning that game. Then you go on the road and play Mississippi State, and then you play Vanderbilt at home before that Georgia game. Like those are some more games where Texas should win those games, right? And it's going to give this Texas offense the opportunity start building a little bit. All right, how about anything else? Hey, offensive line real quick.
Good. Both sides. Pass protection was pretty solid. Run game was, I thought, really good in the second half. A little bit of a slow start for them with some of the penalties. When they got rolling, that was a good physical Texas offense.
Hey, Nick Brooks.
Yeah.
Come on. Like, it wasn't good in the first quarter, man.
But got rolling.
He settled in. Was holding up in pass pro.
And DJ Campbell, I thought finally played with like the attitude I think he needs to play with. Like he was talking to guys, he was putting guys on the ground. Like I felt like he was bringing the edge that again someone on this Texas offense.
Because he's that guy now, right? Like the DJ Campbell is no longer the young wily kid. He's the vet. He's the leader. Yeah, I can get with that too. Yeah, I thought you saw some steps against a really good Oklahoma. Again, I don't think you see. Are you going to see? I'm looking at their schedule. Where's the next defensive line that you see like Oklahoma's? It ain't on the schedule, right? Kentucky.
will be good. I'll give A&M's a good defensive line. Probably not quite Oklahoma, but they're pretty good.
But yeah, that's probably the next three because Georgia ain't that. Georgia ain't even close to what you saw against Oklahoma. All right, hey, defensive side of the football. I mean, again, 258 total yards. You only held them to 6 points, turning the football over, getting after the passer, doing a really good job for the most part, keeping John Mateer, because we're Michigan fans. We got smoked by John Mateer extending plays. You saw the Texas team speed on full display. Like you want to start running east and west, we gonna hawk your ass down. And that's kind of what you saw from this Texas defense. You finally saw the Texas, not finally, because you've really seen it at times this year. Yesterday, you saw that elite Texas defense that we know this unit has the ability to play with.
Yeah, and I think you said the optimal word. It's the team speed, and we thought that was going to be a problem. Like their safeties all can run, they all can tackle. I thought they did a good job getting in the passing lanes. That was the one thing I thought. Again, like being able to take the ball away, create some turnovers. That's a big one because. And again, I don't want to like jump on Texas defense like they've been part of the problem in terms of a slow start because it's clearly been almost all predicated on what their offense has done. Yep. But that was a really nice performance by that defense.
I think the biggest question mark you had about Texas's defense has been answered. That middle of that defensive line. Like you roll your eyes at me.
Well, I don't think like Oklahoma's the performance I'm going to go off of because it's not the greatest offensive line in the world.
That could be okay. I think that's probably
fair. I'm probably now kind of looking forward to like the Georgia game or the Texas A&M game because I didn't think the interior was great against Florida. Frankly, I mean Florida was able to be a little bit physical and get on them a little bit. So frankly, that's still probably like TBD for me. Like, can they be a really good unit against those really elite teams? But again, like the secondary is great. I think they should be able to play heavy boxes with most teams they deal with because there's not a ton of wideouts who can beat Malik Muhammad.
Oh, that's another thing. Like let's go look at the wide receivers. Like what wide receivers are scaring you right now? Kentucky, Mississippi State, Vanderbilt, Georgia, and Texas A&M, right? Look, to me that's the game, man.
Because again, I think like that's probably going to be a play-in game for Texas. Like we'll see how good Texas A&M is by the end of the road. I think they might have the resume to not have it be a play-in game, but Texas probably have to win that to get in.
You still have to get through that road game against Georgia, and look, that's never easy to go there and win football games. I 100% get that. I really do like that matchup for Texas there, right? I don't know if you have to be perfect. Do you think Texas has to be? You think 9-3 gets them in? With all the other
help if they go 9-3, because that probably means Georgia's going.
Yeah, fair enough. You want to be able to control your own destiny, and the only way you do that is go 10-2. I think that's probably the best way to put it. But you saw that,
of course.
You just saw Texas show the ability.
Okay, they can definitely do it if they can be. Like what Sark said, if they can find that level and find it more consistent.
Hey, I got one other name. Sorry to interrupt you. Brad Spence. Kind of like how they're using that. Yeah. All right. We'll close it out there. Appreciate you guys rocking with it. If y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel, and we'll talk to y'all later.